Okay, cool. We are live. Let's see if anybody shows up in the chat.
Yeah.
Wanted to tonight talk about, kind of do a little debrief about the trip that I just made down to the Self-Reliance Festival, and then talk about our channel, kind of give an update on that as far as the monetization woes that we've been undergoing, and just give a little update to that as well. And then just tie up some loose odds and ends from anything else we've got going on around here.
Mm-hmm.
But
and new projects.
Yeah. We it's been about a week and a half since the Self-Reliance Festival, and Nicole had asked me to come down and be a presenter down there, and I took the opportunity to do that, and went down and I spoke on soil building in the backyard, more specifically composting. But it was a pretty cool trip. I was able to go down and hang out with some pretty cool dudes, Tag from Life Done Free, and Patrick from Getting Deep with Data, and Bobby Spags from Spags Unfiltered. And we had a nice house that was kind of overlooking a lake, and we were able to just chill out after the event. But prior to the event, we actually did a live stream and had a pretty interesting conversation for about an hour and a half out there on the deck with the fire going. And at the same time, there was all of that weather that was coming in that wound up causing some tornado and damage down into the south area. I think they had a lot of issues down in Mississippi, and then I think they actually had some stuff in Tennessee as well. But it was a pretty wild night that we had with all the weather that was coming our way. But it was a pretty fun live stream that we did, and if I can figure out how to link to that, I'll see if I can share that as well, because it was a fun conversation. But the following day was the start of the Self-Reliance Festival. And as I said, I was a speaker there, a presenter, and Nicole had asked me if I would speak there. And it wasn't something that I had ever really done before, at least in this sort of context. I hadn't spoke about these sort of issues related to homesteading, but I took her up on the opportunity just for the fact that I think that it helps you grow when you put yourself in, a position where you're not necessarily all that familiar with. So I decided to go down there and speak, and I did so without any training wheels. I didn't have any notes or any PowerPoint or anything like that. I just got up and I spoke about what I'm doing here on the property.
I do have to say, you had a son and a wife that said, "Are you sure you don't want to make notes?"
Yeah. No, I just felt that it would go better that way, flying solo and just kind of going from what I felt like speaking about. And I think it went pretty well. I think it was pretty well received. And I did have one moment where I locked up on stage, but fortunately, one of the people that was in the audience basically kept me right on track. They just said, "Well, you were talking about this," and it just caused me to go right back into what I was speaking about. But yeah, it was a really really good talk. And then on Sunday, we had very good weather. It was an opportunity actually for me to just kind of chill out and go around and talk to a lot of people. And one of the things that I was asking people, "Hey, how you doing, Michelle? Good to see you guys. Good to see you in the chat." One of the things that I was talking about was just asking people that I came across, if they thought that there was anything that was harmful on our channel, because we've still been going through this, monetization issue. But it was just a really nice opportunity to spend time and meet people and get out there and chat. And, for me, that's kind of what YouTube, the most enjoyable part about YouTube is actually interacting with people and meeting people, doing live streams, not necessarily in this particular setting, but actually having somebody on the other side where I'm actually having a conversation with, it's very enjoyable for me. And so to do that in real life, in person, was even more just an enjoyable experience. And I think it's actually something that's kind of lost. We tend to communicate a lot of the way we communicate is through, some form of media instead of meeting in person. And I just think it's a really important thing that we actually make the effort to press the flesh, get a chance to see people, see their facial expressions, and interact with them in that way. And so that's one of the reasons why I've made now 2 trips down to Camden, Tennessee. The first time it was just to go down and to meet people. And this time, again, I had the opportunity to go down as a presenter, and I will be releasing that particular presentation that I gave. I think I'll be releasing that, uploading it on Wednesday. So if any of you did not catch that in Camden when I gave it live, you'll have the opportunity if you want to see what I spoke about. And I would like to be able to share that, because I've actually had a few people that have asked, what I spoke about and was there any recording of it. So I will be releasing that upcoming. But what's your thoughts on the whole, way we communicate these days as far as?
Well, for me, I think it's a shame when you see a toddler in a shopping cart with a tablet watching a movie. We didn't let our kids have cell phones till they were juniors in high school so that they continued to interact with people. And we were available if they needed to get a hold of us. The office had a phone, they could give us a call. And so it's kind of a shame now. You see kids who are just solely focused on their phone and don't even partake in anything around them. That the person sitting next to them, they don't even interact with. I mean, you can see it when you go in the grocery store, the doctor's office, anywhere you go. People's faces are straight down, and that's all they're looking at is their cell phones.
Yeah. We actually have people in our inner circle that have adult children. Mm-hmm. And I mean adult children as in like
in their 20s.
Yeah, one of them's like 25, still living at home, basically isolating themselves from everyone. And it's just one of those things that I can't imagine we are the only people who know of somebody like this. 2 people in our close inner circle are dealing with this issue. And I think it's just a sign of the times. I think it's a real issue as it relates to just society and how we're, interacting with one another. This is great to be able to have a conversation, and it's better than not having a conversation at all. But the best way and the best form of communication is to get out there and actually meet people.
Yeah, and face to face.
Yeah. And I think that's just been kind of lost. And, I don't know if that's something that,
Hi, Potpourri.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Laura? I don't know if that's something that we've, transitioned into, that everybody's now just kind of more comfortable with that. And actually James Corbett did a piece on this. And I found it to be very interesting, because basically what he was saying is that most of the communications that we have nowadays is through a mediated reality, meaning whether that's your texting, whether that's your reading something or hearing something, you're not actually in the room with the person. You're getting your information through some form of media. And it's just kind of an interesting thing to me that that's where we are in society, and we're kind of more comfortable with that. So again, that's one of the reasons why I really find it valuable to go to these places where people are at that you want to meet. That's my brother Spags right there. This guy right here.
We have to take a break from the conversation we're talking about. And I'm speaking straight to Spags.
Yeah.
When we hiked the PCT, There was a hiker of which we never met, but how far apart would you say it was? We saw
I don't know.
we saw at least 5 of the medallions.
Oh
And
yeah.
one of the times we were just sitting there, and we were waiting for a ride actually.
Yeah.
And we had been there for at least like, I want to say like 2 hours.
Hours. Yes.
Hours waiting, trying to hitchhike, trying to get a ride in. And Porterhouse says, "Hey, there's nobody."
Yeah. Yeah. It was this dude who kept dropping these little chits. They were little wooden chits, and they had this little picture on the back of his image, and he looked like this lowrider. He had like a lowrider hat on, and he had the glasses with the lowrider mustache and stuff, and he just had, and his name was Nobody on the front, and then he would put "Nobody was here." He would pencil that in and put the date. And then we kept coming across these things, man, like they're so random. We're just like hiking, and all of a sudden you look over and you just see like this little thing
hanging from a tree.
Right. Yeah. And it was like one of these deals, right? It was like this.
So you'll have to give me Spags if I start calling you Nobody.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It was so cool. I mean, yeah, we sat there for hours. Hey, what's up, Skanes girl? Good to see you in the chat. We sat there for hours waiting to try to get a hitch into town. And then all of a sudden I looked up and there's this little chit hanging there. And so, yeah, it's just crazy.
Well, there was another time too that I got in and out. I seriously got in and out of our tent 4 times. On the 4th time,
yep. So
there
random.
was a medallion hanging down.
Yeah.
Saying nobody was here.
So random.
And
yeah.
It had to have been hanging there the whole entire time that I was getting in and out, but didn't see it until the 4th time.
Yeah. Yeah. We were hoping we would have actually ran into that dude, because I would have liked to have a conversation with him. Like, dude, what's your deal, man? That's just so weird. But anyhow, I think we passed him at that spot where we were waiting, because we were putting in some pretty serious miles, and we kept seeing that we were catching this dude, right? We were a little closer, and he left that chit above us like
one day.
No, it was in the morning. It was hours ahead of us. He left it like in the morning, because we got there and like right around noon. And so it was already there. So he had to get there first thing in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So we wound up passing him in Bend, Oregon. But yeah, it was just, anyhow, that was kind of diversion from what we were talking about. But
it was, but Porterhouse came home with those pens, and I started laughing because that was the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, no, I had a good time hanging out with you down there, Bobby. It was an amazing time. And that's just what I was kind of alluding to in this conversation, because I really do think that it's important that we get out and we press the flesh, and we get an opportunity to meet people. And, it's just something that's in some ways lost in today's society. And, I need to do a better job of that. I think everybody benefits when we can get out and we can meet people. But yeah, it was super cool hanging out with you, you fellows down there.
Uncle Squirrel is pooping, by the way.
What? Who's that guy? I'm pooping. Look at this guy. Right on. Yeah. Do your thing, man. Right on. Yeah. So I don't know. Again, if there's anybody that has that in their like immediate circle of people, family, whatever, I mean, I just can't imagine we're the only people. I think that that's more of a problem in today's society than ever before. And take the opportunity to meet people at these events. I know that they're getting ready to have their Midwest Preparedness Festival out in Kansas. And so you can go on the website to look that up, or hit Bobby Spags up, or hit Data up, or hit Tag up, and get information on how you can go and you can meet some people who are of like mind. So I think that that's just like really, really important. I will say that coming home, I flew on an airline that I had never flown on before.
It was wonderful. It was a fabulous trip.
Dude. Yeah. So how is it that I actually got booked on that flight? Because you did the booking.
I did the booking, and I booked you, hadn't paid for it or anything, but I booked you on a flight, and you didn't want it because you wanted to come in earlier,
right?
So that you could pick up your rental car. before it was really late. So I backed out of all of that and I rescheduled, and it was 2 one-way flights that they joined together for an inexpensive or a cheaper price. And that's how you ended up on that.
Yeah. Before we talk about Spirit Airlines, I just want to put up Michelle's comment because it goes to what we were just talking about. And, it says that she's not really comfortable with introducing herself, and she put herself out there to approach people. And that's how she met us. And we met Michelle in person. I had been interacting with Michelle online for some time, both on my Instagram and through my like I got a running channel or whatever. So I had that for many, many years, and Michelle had been following me there. And then she started following me when we were doing our PCT hiking. And then
I think we both met her at PCT days.
Yeah, right. Up in Cascade Locks up in Oregon. And we chatted and talked for a while, and it's awesome. It's just awesome meeting people that you get an opportunity to, understand that, hey, this is a real person, right? So we appreciate Michelle and her stepping forward to introduce herself to us, even though that is something that she's indicated she's not very comfortable with. And that goes back to what I was saying before with regard to maybe getting up in front of people and talking in front of people and being a presenter, because we only grow, we only learn by a little bit of discomfort. We only get better at things by putting ourselves out there and trying. And so it's very important to not just be comfortable, at least from my perspective. It's not the way that I want to live out the remainder of my days is being comfortable necessarily. I like comfort just like anybody else, but not to the extent where I don't grow. I want to continually grow every decade until it's no more. And the only way that you do that is by testing and challenging yourself. And so, kudos to you for getting out there and doing something that, is not really something that's very comfortable for you.
I can understand you, Michelle. I was extremely, extremely, extremely shy growing up. And actually, the kids thought that I was stuck up. And so I got picked on. But I was deathly afraid to talk to anybody.
Yeah. It's interesting how we change in life, I've said this before, but I think it's like, I look back at my life in decades and think about like how I was at different times and the things that I thought about. And if I never challenged myself or sought to learn anything beyond what I already thought I knew, I would still be that same person with those same, ways of viewing things. And I just think that there's so much to learn. There's always so much to push yourself to grow. So,
Good evening, Chuck.
Let's see here.
In Dog Creek.
I'm more sociable than my husband, but I am not one who enjoys crowds, yet I can speak in a crowd. I do enjoy my quiet time for sure. I think we're all like that to some extent. I mean, I would consider myself not a people person. However, if people are cool, I like those people, right? I have time for people that aren't just oxygen thieves, that aren't taking away from me. If they're people who have something to contribute, I like people in that respect. But as well, I like my private time and, to be not sometimes around people, but actually like the PCT, that was like one of the things that I really liked the most was the people. So It's interesting, even though I say that I'm not a people person, it's that interaction with people that is just like huge. I mean, it was beautiful. There was beautiful things to see. That's what people go and hike those trails for. But at the same time, what was shocking to me is just how much I enjoyed meeting people out there on trail. And so it's super cool.
Well, the icebreaker for me was I lived in a little town and we had a guy, I would say probably in his 20s, that would pass our house all the time. He had cerebral palsy. He was quite delayed. But he would ride his bike by our house. And one day I was terrified of him. I just scared. And one day he was stuck and there was nobody to help him but me. And so I had to just suck it up and walk across the street and help him. And that kind of helped me break out. And actually it kind of led me to the career that I had, which was working with handicapped people.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what she was doing when I met her. Actually, that's what you were. Yeah. Yeah. She was working with
I worked in a state institution for the handicapped.
Right. As a recreational therapist, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, hey, Chuck Peoples, man, good to see you, dude. I had an opportunity to hang out with Chuck, and I met Chuck down at SRF, and I got a chance to see him again a week and a half ago. So Chuck's good people for sure. And yeah, thanks for showing up tonight, man, to come into the chat. Dog Creek Farms in the house. Same, man. It's great talking with you. Super good. I really appreciated the time that we were able to spend there. I wish we actually had more, dude. It was just a really kind of whirlwind day, even though it was very relaxing for me to go around and chat with people and stuff. But we're going to have to do that again and get together and maybe have some dinner or something. That would be cool. I would love that. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We have to challenge ourselves. I'm getting much better. I can relate to that. Well, doing trail magic has really helped. Yeah. Large groups getting better. Right on. And what Michelle's talking about is trail magic is like, it's kind of one of those things that is an unexpected thing that you come across where people do very cool things for you while you're out there on trail. Like all of a sudden you'll just, come around to top of a hill or something, and there'll be like an ice chest filled with like beers
or soda
or
fruit.
Yeah.
Fruit's great.
Right. And then there'll be people that'll set up where they'll like barbecue and like put on a full on spread. And when you're out on trail, man, it's like you're starving, because the food is just like, it's just garbage you're eating, you're just eating just nothing but sugar and carbs. And so like any kind of like actual food sounds so delicious. So you're starving yourself like on these carbs for 3 or 4 days till you get to town. And then when you come across trail magic, it is actually magical because you weren't expecting it, So
that's what it's like having Porterhouse with you. He talks in great detail about how hot dog would taste and the way it would snap in your mouth if it was cooked just right. And you're starving,
right?
And he's behind you, just describing in great detail.
It's a fantasy. You're out there and you're just starving yourself. We lost a lot of weight, and I don't have a lot of weight to lose. She doesn't have a lot of weight to lose, but we were like losing weight because we were hiking we hiked like 25-mile days in Washington, and Washington's like no joke. There's a lot of vert in Washington. And so for like old people, hiking on Cliff Bars, it's
never want to see another.
No, forget about it. In the Army, they forced us to learn through public teaching. We were given classes and forced to teach hundreds of strangers. Very uncomfortable, yet we became experts quickly. For sure, man.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's how you grow, is putting yourself in that. And no better way to do it than be forced in the Army, because you don't have an option, right? Yeah, man. I get that. I get that totally. People person with the right people. Yeah, 100%. I love hanging out with people that are actually motivated people, and they have something to contribute, and that they're people of their word, right? If you say you're going to do something, hold true to that and do it. And then I have respect for that. It's the people that just want to talk and run their mouth. I got to cut you loose, man. I got only so many hours, to spend, and it's just, that's the way I am. So I don't know. Yep. Public speaking. Skanes girl says, public speaking is tougher than it looks. Teaching a small group is easier than speaking to a large crowd.
I don't know. You can look over the top of a large crowd and just keep speaking and not even make contact, and you look like you're making contact with them.
Right. I think what makes public speaking easier is the confidence that you have when you're speaking about a subject. If it's something you're very familiar with, it's very easy to talk about it and speak, it's just easy, when you feel comfortable with what you're talking about. It's when you're uncomfortable with the material. For me, it's like, oh man, I'm like making stuff up as I go or whatever. But yeah, I agree, Skanes girl. It is definitely tougher than it looks, but I think it's one of those things, because I know people that say, oh, public speaking, or I get nervous in front of crowds. Well, that should be your cue to say, I need to put myself there, and then get familiar with that. And then I grow from it, and you feel more empowered and better about it. And then ultimately you're going to get better at it. It's just one of those things. Repetition. Yeah. So I was talking about Spirit Airlines, and when I got booked on Spirit, and I told my son, hey, I'm going to be flying back. I flew out United, and then coming back, it was Spirit Airlines. And he was like, oh, you're flying Spirit Airlines? Oh man, there's like memes about that airline, man. They like fights break out and stuff. And I'm like, what? No, I didn't even hear, whatever. I don't fly that much. And so I wasn't like on board with like what Spirit Airlines is even about or whatever. But whatever, we'll see. And coming back, man, it was like not cool. So I would just say this, that it's not worth the savings that you think you might like get. And we weren't necessarily doing it because of the savings. It was because of the timing of the flight.
It was the time frame that he needed to kind of fit in to be able to get there and get home.
Right. I didn't want to be getting to Tennessee at 9:30 at night, and then trying to like figure out like, is the rental car place still going to be open or whatever. So I wound up getting the flight where I got in the afternoon, and that's what she could get, was Spirit Airlines. But
we already experienced a late night trying to do the rental in Iowa, and there was snow on the ground, and we thought we had it all worked out. We got in the car, and of course the car was parked outside, and it was stuck in the snow. So
yeah,
we had to come back in and try to get that all worked out.
Yeah, it's just like that airline, man. I mean, the seats were this thick, right? Like 3 inches thick. It's not okay. The little tray that you pull down where you put your your food or whatever is like the size of a little, like, I don't know, tablet or something. It's super small, and everything's plastic, and it's just like, this is not cool, man. Like, this isn't comfortable. You're in there all crammed in, and it's just, I don't know. I would not recommend it, because it's like a la carte. Everything's a la carte. I'm like, they drink thing coming down, and I'm like, hey, can I get some water? And they're like, oh, that'll be $4. And I was like, okay, great. So I like dig out some cash, and she's like, oh no, it's just a card. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not swiping my card with you, man. I'll forget about it. Anyhow, they charge you for water. They charge you for your carry-on. They charge you for your luggage. They charge you for snacks. So I don't know. I'm just getting on a rant right here, but buyer beware. So
give me a call next time you want somebody to book you a flight. I'll hook you up.
Right. Hey, what's up, Jason? Good to see you, man. Jason was another dude that I was hanging out with and got a chance to see at Self-Reliance Festival. And it's a good dude, Kentucky, doing some cool things with his community. And it was good seeing you, man. But I also wanted to kind of talk about the channel as far as the issues we've been having with monetization. And, maybe some of maybe some of you don't, that we've had an issue in the last month, I guess it's been, where we were denied monetization based upon the fact that this channel has harmful content on it. At least according to YouTube, it's harmful content. And when you click on that harmful content, it doesn't really specify where the harmful content or what it is. It just says your channel focuses on controversial issues. And I've been trying to get some resolve from YouTube in that regard. And it's been a little bit of a head scratcher to me, why the channel is still being denied monetization based upon that, because they haven't specifically indicated what the problem is, what the video is. So it leaves me to speculate as to what their intentions or motives are. And I don't know, quite honestly, but I did, on the way down to the airport to go to Self-Reliance Festival on a Thursday, it was the 23rd of last month, I hit the reapply button because that's when I was eligible to reapply for monetization. And I reapplied, and then it was, the very next day, it was Friday night, where bing, I get this email, same thing. Your channel has been denied monetization for harmful content. So I've been trying to work through this issue with YouTube, and I've been going through their creator support, which is basically just a chat. You can either correspond with them through a chat or an email. And I've been doing these chats, and after being denied, I went back and I initiated another chat, and the person told me that I would be receiving some information, because I asked specifically about, hey, what time frame can I be expecting to maybe hear something? Because they said that they would, push this up the chain to one of their colleagues. And he said like 24 hours. Well, that was like 5 days ago, right? And so yesterday, I contacted them again, and I got a hold of somebody named Alan. And let me just tell you this, that if you do anything with regard to having to deal with this type of an issue or any other issue with YouTube through their support mechanism, I would strongly encourage you to, at the conclusion of your chat, make sure you email a transcript of that chat, because what that will do is it will give you permanent record of everything that you chatted about, right? So you won't have to try to recall what you said. You can read it specifically. But better than that, it also gives you a case number. And so what I did yesterday is I basically told Alan, I said, hey, he's like, hey, how can I help you? And I said, well, I've been trying to get some resolve. I haven't had any luck through this mechanism. However, let me give you the case numbers for the previous chats that I have. And I gave him all 3 of those case numbers so that he could be brought up to speed. And in doing so, it really shortened our conversation. And I'll read to you basically kind of what the result of that was, because I think that it, at least outwardly, it seems to me like it's moving forward, but I don't really think that it is actually moving forward until it actually moves forward, because that other dude told me that I'd hear something back in 24 hours, and I didn't hear anything for like 4 days. And now it's the 5th day. So basically what this dude said is, it says, this is his reply after our chat. This wasn't our specific chat or anything. Let's see here. Are we caught up in the chat?
I think so, except for there's taking the class and then getting kudos for getting back up on stage to finish, because you had what I would refer to as a brain fart when you forget what you're talking about.
No, I just, for a momentary lapse of, kind of lost my train of thought. And when you're flying without training wheels or like a safety net, you kind of like think for a minute, like, uh-oh, what do I do next? And thankfully somebody in the audience is like, you were talking about this. And I was just like, oh, okay, I got it.
Here. Skane's girl.
Yeah. Made the monumental mistake of memorizing my first speech, and I blanked out. But I got, that's right. Way to go. Let me see if I can get back to this email. It's just a really short reply. And this is basically what it says. Hi there. I hope this email finds you well. This is a follow-up email from our chat earlier. I escalated your channel monetization to our internal team review and expect to hear back within a couple of days. I'll get back to you with an update as soon as I have more to share. For now, no action is needed from you while we wait. So, that to me sounds promising, but again,
Way to go, Nancy.
what's that?
She's I'm 70 and brain farts happen.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know, man. We'll see where it goes. I think it's a real problem. I actually have had some people ask like, hey, how can we help? Or is there anything that we can do? And, I don't really specifically know. However, I have heard of people having success reaching out to Team YouTube on Twitter and getting a response from them. So I'm not on Twitter, and I don't know if anybody that is listening to this is on Twitter or might listen to this is on Twitter. But if you had an interest in trying to resolve this or helping us resolve this, that would be much appreciated. To maybe go on to Twitter and just type a little question into YouTube, Team YouTube, I think is what it's called, and seeing if, maybe they can help expedite the issue, because this channel, from what I understand, is a homesteading channel. And we talk about things related to homesteading, like chickens and growing food and maybe a little biochar and maybe being a little bit more self-reliant and building community. And so I didn't think that was specifically harmful, nor would it be a problem to anyone. But apparently in some ways that it is, and they're not necessarily wanting to be forthcoming about, helping us get to the bottom of this. So
Don't get geared up.
What's that?
Don't get geared up.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. So if there would be anybody that might want to assist, then that would be super cool on our behalf. I will say that I have ordered a t-shirt, and if anybody would be interested in maybe purchasing that t-shirt, I think it's not only a way to help support this channel, possibly, and it's not like we're making a bunch of money at this, right? It's just a little something for the effort of putting out content, but it also, I think, makes a very important statement. And so I'm going to rock the shirt once I get it, but I wanted to get it to see what it looks like and all of that. But I'll show you what the shirt essentially looks like. And yeah, it's got that on the front, very simple message. So I think that that's a statement that needs to be maybe possibly communicated.
See, Chuck says he'll send him a message.
Right on. Yeah, man. So again, I think that this particular shirt, from my standpoint,
Hello, Crooked Little Homestead,
makes a statement, because I don't believe what we're doing here is harmful. So I'm going to get that shirt. I'm going to see what it looks like. If it's something that anybody's interested in, yeah, we can put it up on the website. Let us know if that's something that you might want to purchase or whatever once we get it. And then that way we'll know, how many of those things to order. I'm not going to order 10 shirts or 15 shirts or 20 shirts or any shirts beyond just what I'm going to need. So if there's anybody that's interested, let me know either somewhere on this platform or reach out to us at our email, which is porterhouseandteal@gmail.com. So, yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. Chuck says he's in for it. Right on, brother. Right on. Yeah, I appreciate that, Chuck. Chuck says he'll try to send a message or whatever. I don't know if that would help or if it would work or anything, but I don't know, man. It's not so much about this channel as it is, I wonder if it's a larger thing. At first I thought, I thought that it was like a glitch. I kind of decided, oh, I'll just, we'll see how it goes after a month, right? After a month, we'll see if maybe that was just in like a glitch or an accident or something. It'll iron itself out. And then to reapply and then get a response the very next day, same thing. So what's the answer for this channel? Do I just start randomly deleting videos that I don't see to be a problem? They need to like let somebody know what the problem is in order for them to correct it. So maybe a little help would be pretty awesome. Right.
Thanks,
on,
Nancy.
Yeah, right on, Nancy. I appreciate it. I'll definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks, guys.
Did my crooked little homestead.
Yeah. Well, again, I got to get this shirt and see what it looks like or whatever, and then figure out like, what is like shipping and all that sort of stuff. And, but yeah, I think it just makes a statement about not only this channel, but just, preparedness, self-reliance, growing your own food, all of those things. I'm only left to speculate. What their intentions are with regard to, this channel, because this channel is pretty clear on what it's all about. And nobody's been able to tell me that there's anything harmful. And those that have suggested, oh, well, maybe it's this video or that video. Well, there's plenty of other channels that have videos just like that, and then some, that are monetized and are making, money off of the ad revenue that they're getting from those videos. So it's just one of those things. I don't really want to talk too much more about that, but I definitely wanted to kind of keep you guys apprised of that, because I think that, there's a potential that other people that may want to monetize their channel could eventually maybe have this sort of an issue. Maybe it is just a glitch, or maybe it's something
true, Nancy.
Maybe
you
something
need to know
deeper.
what the problem is to be able to fix the problem.
Right. I said it originally, it would be like driving across country and then like getting home and opening your mailbox and seeing like, hey, you've got this citation, but we're not going to tell you where you made the infraction, what you did. You just need to pay money, or you just need to go to jail. We're not even going to allow you to pay money to make it better. You just need to be in jail over here. It's much like that. And Jason from Kentucky Sustainable, when we had our conversation the other day, he was saying it'd be like backhanding your kid, and the kid's like, hey, what did I do wrong? And you don't tell him what you did wrong. How can the kid know what he did wrong, what to correct, if it's not identified? So
although that happens. You can drive over, say, the Golden Gate Bridge, and you get a ticket in the mail, and you've got to pay for it, but maybe it wasn't you driving the car.
Well, that's true, but it was your car, because they took a picture of the license plate.
I know, but isn't it the person that's driving that should be getting the ticket?
It should be. It absolutely should be. Yeah. Buenas noches. Grumpy Acres, what's up, man? Good to see you. Yeah, I had a good meeting with you, man. We had dinner the final night there, and it was nice. We got a lot of us got together, and we went out to dinner, and it was just cool meeting Garen and his wife, and Yoda, and yeah, it's just great, man, meeting all those folks. And again, that's something that's super important for building relationships. If there's nothing wrong, chances are that's why they won't tell you.
It's quite possible.
Yeah, I want to not be. I want to not believe that, right? People have made speculation as to what their motives are, but I want to hold out hope that maybe it's just it's a glitch. But is it something bigger? That's the question. Is there some reason, like people have suggested? That's what we're left to speculate about.
All right, enough of that. Tell them your new purchase.
What's that?
I said,
Oh yeah.
tell them your new purchase.
Yeah. Right on, Skane's Grill. Thanks for stopping in. And
get mama to bed.
That's right. Appreciate it. Yeah, we added some livestock. I was going to talk about that. We added some livestock to the property, and for many years we just wound up having cattle here on our property because it's always been the easy way for us. The infrastructure's in, and then they're just like so much easier when it's time to leave.
Good night, Spags.
Right on. All right, Spags. Appreciate you stopping in, man.
I'll have to meet you one of these days.
That's right. Yeah, for sure you will. Yeah, we decided to add some livestock to the property, and we've always had cows because it's just easier with predators, but we've decided based upon it makes more sense to run some other ruminants here, some smaller ruminants that are a little easier to at least manage from a processing standpoint and still meet the needs that we have as far as pasture management. Decided to add some sheep to the property for the first time. And I'm actually running them in a sheep tractor, the one that I built, and then put a video out on this channel. And yeah, it's cool, man. I got some like hair sheep, and they're Katahdins. So that's what I've been wanting to get is some hair sheep. I don't know if I was going to get, which brand, or excuse me, which breed, but it was either Katahdin, Dorper, or St. Croix. And I'll probably wind up getting I need to get 2 more ewes. So I'm going to probably wind up getting a St. Croix ewe, and I'm probably going to wind up getting a Dorper ewe so that I can put those with the ram that I have who's Katahdin, and I'll wind up getting those crosses. Plus I have a Katahdin ewe that I picked up the other day, and it worked out really, really well because I just happened to catch it on. I had to keep my eyes out, and I saw it on Craigslist, and these people were relocating and they didn't have room to take them. So I was able to get a really good deal on them. I picked up both the adults. I got a 3-year-old ram that's, he's a decent looking ram, and he's doing his job because he's the father of the 2 little ones that came with the ewe. And I picked him up for $100, picked the ewe up for $100, and I got the 2 little ram lambs that are just now 2 months old. And so I'll probably wind up selling those or maybe trading or something like that. But yeah, I picked those up for $75. So it was super
Grumpy
good.
Acres wants to know if you have to deal with predators larger than coyotes.
No, Grumpy. No, man. That's the extent of it, thankfully, is coyotes around here. And we have smaller stuff, but those won't be of issue with the sheep. It's just be the coyote pressure that we have. We've got a creek that's just that way that runs through, and every night you can hear those things, man, just going off. And we've lost over 30 cats at our place because we used to think, hey, maybe we should have some more barn cats, and then we'd get a cat and another cat, and they just like wind up vanishing at night. They'd hang around for a while, and then we'd lose them to coyotes.
We had one that we kept for the longest time, and he was just as sweet as could be. And that particular cat would allow the dog to drag it around by his ears, and it killed all the cartilage. And so the cartilage of the ear all wilted up and fell off. And so he got the name No Ears because he looked like Grandpa Munster.
Right.
If you're old enough to know the Munsters, he just had the tufts of hair that stuck out there, and they were gray. So
yeah, he was a cool cat. We called him No Ears,
and he was really smart because at nighttime he'd come in and he'd sleep up against the house. So we kept him for a long time till he kind of got a little senile, I think, and started staying out a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think the kids said they heard one night, like something going on out there, and that was probably the night that he didn't make it back. But yeah, we have coyotes. That's one of the things we have. We have all the other smaller predators too, like raccoons and foxes and all that sort of stuff. That would certainly love to get after some chickens, but we haven't really had much of an issue. It's just nice to be able to have something to put those sheep in, because at this point I don't have a guardian dog. Oh yeah, bobcats. Bobcats. Yeah. I have never actually seen a bobcat on our property, but that doesn't mean that they're not out there at night doing what, nocturnal predators do. But yeah, I'd like to actually probably add a guardian dog to the mix, maybe. And then, I can start running these animals a little bit differently. But like right now, I'm dragging this chicken tractor around, and, it's something you got to do. You got to drag it around, a couple of times a day at least. And so that's just one of those things that takes a certain level of time commitment that, ties you to your property. But yeah, I'm pretty pumped on those sheep, man. I'm looking to add that to the mix.
It's as close to a goat as Porterhouse is going to let me get.
Yeah. No, goats are not happening. That's out of the question.
All I have is a cow named Goat.
Yeah, those goats they're pain in the ass. They get old. You can't keep them in. Our neighbors got goats.
And they're on our side of the property all the time.
See, we got goats. Not happening. Yeah, and so I've been just, trying to work out some of the bugs in my sheep tractor. Card donkey.
I'm down for that.
Yeah, donkeys are kind of funny. Those things are hilarious.
We have one that lives on our street. We call it Sundial because it follows the shade of the tree around.
Yeah, that's right. Old Sundial. There was like one tree in this little spot, and it's like hot here, and they had one tree for this donkey, and he would just follow the little stick of shade all the way around it. We named him Sundial. Let's see, Crooked Little Homestead. I have bears. Let's see here. I have bears, wolves, lynx, foxes, coons, even a bear den on the poof. I have only had a problem once with raccoons until I chased them. Yeah, bears, huh? Yeah, that's rough. What kind of bears are those? Are those grizzly bears you got up there? You're up in Ontario, right? Bears, huh? Yeah, we got black bear, but not down in the valley where we're at. We got them up, higher up. There's plenty of black bear around here, but like up in Canada, man, they get them grizzly bears. That ain't cool.
Is trail cams to put by your sheep?
Yeah. Trail cams to put by sheep for a couple weeks so you can see who is interested. Yeah. I know my daughter and son-in-law have done that because they wound up losing a bunch of livestock, and they wanted to know who was coming in or whatever. And I haven't done that specifically. I think what I might do on that sheep tractor, and I don't even know if it's going to be necessary, quite honestly, because that thing, man, no coyotes getting in that thing. I'll guarantee he's going to have to climb over the top to get in there, and they're not coming out. So it's pretty secure. I feel pretty comfortable that I'm not going to come out to a bloody mess in the morning. So what I had considered doing is taking those motion sensor lights you can get off Amazon and putting one on all four corners of my sheep tractor so that anything that comes up to it is going to get lit up, because coyotes, man, they do not like being lit up at night, and they will not get close to that tractor if the lights are on them. So that's one thing I'd considered doing. But I know they're out there. I've seen them at night.
This is for Potpourri of Life. She says no goats for her. I made the mistake of allowing our daughter to go into a petting zoo, and she had a banana in her hand, and she was like 1.5, and the goat knocked her down to steal her banana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, I guess they're cute or whatever, but like, yeah, I don't want that, because they're just, they get out and they're just, I don't know, man, goats are not cool. They actually taste pretty good. I had some goat meat there.
We actually did have goat.
Yeah, goats.
It wasn't bad. I was surprised.
Yeah, it's pretty good stuff.
And I'm a picky eater.
Right. So that's one of the other reasons why we got those hair sheep, because I understand this isn't anything I know anything about. So if there's anybody in the chat that knows, let me know. Like if you've raised them and you know what the differences of the tastes of them are, let me know. You can either reach out or whatever, but I understand they taste a little bit less like lamby. I like lamb meat, but she's not a fan. And if I can find something that tastes less lamby and more like kind of like beef, that would be the best because, yeah.
That's a big boar. 150 pounds.
Let's see here. Get several. What? Get several what? Get several as they will corner or
Lights, right? I'm thinking.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. What does he mean by that, Ken? Let's see here. My daughter shot a 450-pound boar pair during hunting season. Yeah. We've got them around here, decent sized ones, but like not the grizzly bears or whatever. That's house sitting is kind of something you've been stuck doing since I've had to go, or not had to, but I've wound up going a few places because years ago we did not really have the commitment that we have now. We actually scaled things back after our retirement for that very reason, so we could bail, right? And it's pretty easy to make sure that the cows have water, all the troughs are on floats, and pasture's good. They don't need anything other than just the pasture. And we would always put them in the back of the property so that if somebody came down the frontage road and drove through our fence,
they wouldn't be able to get out.
Right.
And
that's
highly likely.
That's happened 3 times since we've been here in 20 years. So it's always a concern that like somebody's going to drive through our fence and then all of a sudden our livestock's on the road. So we would always put them to the back of the property where that wouldn't be an issue. And then we could leave like a big bale or something, or if feed wasn't that good, and then just bounce. But it's kind of hard to do that now that we've added more things here back to the property since 2020. We've kind of ramped things back up, and it's harder for us to just leave.
We haven't ventured into the rabbits. This is for Crooked Little Homestead. And I'm not crazy about duck. Although I like ducks, I don't necessarily want to eat duck.
Right. I consider doing rabbits just because they seem like a very sustainable animal. They don't really require a lot as far as, feed. They can eat grass or whatever. And then they would be a great food source for a dog. I don't necessarily want to eat rabbit. I mean, I guess we could. But I've considered that as well. The problem that we have here is it gets very, very hot in the summertime. It's routinely 90 degrees here. That's a normal day. And then for weeks at a time, we can be over 100, 110. And that's kind of a problem for rabbits. It's just one more thing to try to manage, and it's hard.
They don't do well in the heat.
Grumpy says, if you let sheep get over 15 months, we use the 12-month rule. They won't taste like beef. Still very tasty. You just have to know how to cook it. Right on. Yeah, I appreciate that. Processing shouldn't be an issue. I mean, they're pretty small, and I could handle that. It's just I just haven't done it as far as knowing what they taste like, those particular sheep. And again, I've heard that that hair sheep are a lot more mild because they don't have the lanolin in their hair, which is apparently what gives the lamb meat some off-putting taste in some regard, I guess. But I'm not a lamb expert, so anybody can let me know that is. I still want that like guard donkey, man. Right? So what do you, let's see here. Donkeys work as a group. Single donkey can be hurt by a group of dozen.
I bet.
Yeah.
Gang up on it.
Yeah. Well, that's another mouth to feed. That's kind of what I'm looking at. Yeah, we could probably add more livestock. So I'm thinking about it from more of a sustainable, that's another mouth to feed. And that's why I would be looking at maybe doing rabbits or something, so that if I get a guardian dog, I could do kind of like what John Willis does. He still feeds his dog kibble, right? But he's supplementing that with those rabbits that he raises. And, he feeds them straight to his guardian dogs. And I'm thinking about it in the sense of, well, what happens if we don't have the ability to feed our animals because of some other issue, supply chain, or who knows? It would be nice to know that the animals that I have here on my property are going to be fed from the property. That's the whole idea here. I could put all kinds of stuff on this property. We got like 22 acres. We could just keep stacking animals. We could do that, but that's my mindset. And it's really always kind of been that way, but it's been accelerated. And so that's why I'm transitioning away from the cows, because they take more. Obviously I could go with a smaller breed cow or whatever, you know.
That's the goat.
Right. But I don't know. It's just one of those things.
And I don't mean goats. I meant our cow named Goat.
Yeah. There's other things that are pretty cool. I guess are llamas kind of like that too. They can kind of.
I like them. They're very pompous.
Yeah, they are very pompous. So what's your thoughts about always being home?
Well, it would be nice to go, but I don't mind being home taking care of the animals because it gives me time to play with the grandbabies and have them over. So I enjoy doing that.
Right. Yeah, I wish we could go to these festivals, you and I, and you get a chance to experience that too.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just the not really the downside. I don't know if it's a downside. It's just the responsibility that is required when you have animals and you have livestock, and it's difficult to expect somebody else to take care of your stuff in the way that necessarily you would want it taken care of.
Well, as I said to Porterhouse, we certainly could afford to have a maid, and we live in a pretty good sized house. That would be nice. However, it kind of creeps me out to have somebody in my house doing things. And I feel the same way with the property and dealing with the animals on the outside. I'd rather do it myself. It's just the way I feel.
Right. It's nice knowing when you leave that somebody on the other end is, fully engaged in taking care of things. So it's just one of those things that we, had to change our focus, but we don't mind because, it's for the better as far as what we're doing at this stage in our life. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see what Grumpy has to say here. We cross our sheep. We have ramblers. What's a rambler? I don't know what that is.
Never heard of it.
Like a rambouillet. I know what that is, but a rambler. Crossed with Katahdin, less shearing and better meat, and butchering with a good source of grazing. They weigh out 80 to 120 pounds. Nice. Yeah. Are you giving them any supplement? Are you just grass feeding them? Or are you grain finishing or anything like that? Yeah, this is all something I got to try to flesh out, see how we want to do that. You're grain finishing? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like grain finished meat, to be quite honest. We grain finish all of our beef, and it just makes so much more palatable. The flavor's so much better. And some people are into the grass-fed, meats and stuff, and that's fine. I've tried it, and maybe I haven't tried enough of it to really properly assess it. But as far as what we do here on our property, we finish for at least minimum would be 60 days, but more preferably 90 days would be the finish on that. So we'll grass feed them and then grain finish.
Well, I think it helps too that our animals are pretty much handled. So they're not really a pet, but they're kind of a pet. They're pretty friendly. So they're really relaxed. And I think that helps with the way their meat is and how they taste.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It makes all the difference in the world, as far as the processing of it.
They love watermelon, the cows. I was really surprised to see they liked tomatoes.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's pretty much what's been going on with the channel and the Self-Reliance Festival that we went to. Like I say, it was a great event, and just been working around the property here, trying to tick off some of those things that we have identified are, really a priority for us. I've been working quite a bit, just trying to finish up on the storm cleanup because we had, some storms come through and it took down a lot of trees and things like that. And I've been a little putting that on the back burner because I've had other things I needed to take care of. So I'm still, as the weather gets good, going out and taking care of all those things. And, we're transitioning into, our planting season where we're going to be starting to, put in a few more
Good night, potpourri.
of our vegetables and stuff. So we do not grain finish. We rotate pastures. We can. Okay.
Well, we rotate pasture too.
Oh yeah, of course. But
depending on.
But he was saying that he doesn't grain finish. So
yeah.
So yeah, that's cool, man. If it tastes good, like I say, we'll probably try both. I would prefer to not have to grain finish. My understanding is that with these hair sheep, you don't really have to do that from what I've read. And again, I don't know that, but it's one of those things.
Pigs are a lot of fun. Our son showed pigs in 4-H and FFA.
Good night, Laura.
We certainly learned a lot the first couple years, definitely, and that we enjoyed them.
Yeah. We're actually going to be getting some pigs here pretty shortly because we're going to need to get some more meat because we've almost poured through what we had from last year. So we'll be getting some more hogs here shortly and going through that whole deal. So yeah, I appreciate you guys being in the chat tonight. It's been good to kind of chat it up with y'all. And I think that's about all we really had to talk about, was just kind of updating folks on what's been going on with the channel, really. And yeah, I certainly appreciate it. And again, I'll be putting that video from my talk at the Self-Reliance Festival out, I believe on Wednesday. So if you'd like to check that out, yeah, it'll be uploaded soon. Is Angela here? What's that? Grumpy said. Right on. Well, cool. You have anything else? Any closing thoughts for the folks?
I don't. It's great to meet all you guys.
Yeah, one of these times
to interact.
One of these times we're going to have to get her out, like I say, to these events. Be cool to maybe go out one of these times to check the folks out in Midwest Preparedness, and I know they got a really good community out there.
Well, here's a thought.
Yeah,
you could have a festival here.
Then
I could still take care of the animals, and they could come here.
I don't know about that, man. Right on. Well, hey, thanks again, guys. Oh, right on. Yeah, right on. Thanks, Terminator. Great to see you in the chat, and I'll be uploading that. And then I'll try to figure out like what's up with this shirt, because once I get it, it's not even supposed to be here till like the 18th of this month. But
hey, Brianna and Greg.
Hey, it's Bree. What's up, Bree? I'm not sure what the shirt's going to look like, what it's going to be or whatever. But you saw what it said on the front, and then on the back, it just has, in small letters, I just put at the real Porterhouse and Teal.
See that?
And so
Grumpy Acres is up for it.
Yeah. Oh man. I don't know, man. That's a lot of work.
That scares Porterhouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he talks about how comfortable he is.
Yeah.
You just found his weak spot.
Come on, Zoom. You guys need to come on and Zoom with everyone. Like, what's with the Zoom? What is the Zoom? What am I missing here? Where's the Zoom?
You can get that sticker in the back of your car that says Zoom, Zoom, Zoom.
I don't know what the Zoom is. I need to be brought up to speed. But yeah, we would like to come on and Zoom with you guys, wherever that is. You'll have to reach out and send me the link, or what am I missing here? Oh man, always late to the party. You can see that everyone's on the call. Oh, right on. Yeah, that's right. Hook us up with the food truck issues. You guys were crushing it, man, at the Self-Reliance Festival. They stepped it up because they had an issue at Self-Reliance where
It's awesome.
Yeah, they had an issue where the person that was supposed to show up for the food vendor just like was a no-show. And so everybody was like, hey, I thought they were going to have food here, like lunch and stuff, you know? And so Grumpy Acres started like hooking people up. And then the following day, they were like cooking breakfast for people and stuff. So that was pretty cool to see them be able to just go on the fly and, step it up like that. So yeah, might have to consider that.
That Zoom is how I have my doctor's appointments. That's
Right,
crazy.
right.
The doctors are becoming.
I know what Zoom is. I know what it is, but like, I think she was talking about a specific event that was a Zoom conference or something, but
Maybe.
Yeah.
A group.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, guys. I think we're going to bounce and go on out. And it's been real.
Yeah. Nice chatting with y'all. Look out for Spags. You never know where you're going to find him.
Oh, let's see here. It's on Thursday night. Let's see here. I need to see this. On Thursday nights at 7. Hippocrates Garden posts the link just before on Freesteadings. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll have to see if we can maybe put that into the schedule or something. It's just one of those things. It's kind of hard, you know. I mean, we're all busy, right? We've all got things to do, and you know, it's kind of hard to make all the events or whatever. But that's something that would be kind of cool to do. Just do a little Zoom action. So right on, Skane's girl. Good night, Michelle. Good night. Oh, that's right. Yeah. I wanted one of those tamales, dude. Oh yeah. We wound up going over to the store next door and getting some hamburgers or something. So it worked out.
So were your tamales sold by accident?
I don't know. I think she just needed people to feed people, and he had a bunch of tamales for him. She's like selling them. Yeah. That's right. Adapt and overcome. Right on. Cool. Hey, thanks guys. Again, we're gonna take off, and thanks from all of us here. That I think it's great to chat and to have a little bit of interaction with you folks, and I'll see if I can get that stuff out as promised, the t-shirt as well as the video.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.
Okay. We'll see you.